Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 4WC 2024. It is the semifinals losers bracket match. On the left side, we have Brazil, the Hard Rock powerhouses, who did unfortunately fall to China last week 6-1 in a bit of an upset. On the right side, we have got Team Sweden dropping down in the first round of the tournament, but making the losers bracket run, beating the Spanish team last week 6-1, and now here facing off against Brazil. I'm iFlame, joined today by Felicia. How you doing?
I'm doing alright. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Looking forward to this one. Let's talk about some of the notable players in this match. I think notably for Sweden, Skilla has been the big carry, has been consistently one of the top individual performers for that team, and was popping off for the Swedish team in OWC as well. Certainly a nice player to have in a tournament like this.
Yeah, he's not only been extremely competitive in this one, but even recently in open rank tournaments, he's been one of the better players in open rank tournaments. So he's definitely one of the major players to look out for in Sweden. But you also have players like Psycho on the side of Sweden.
Yeah, lots of good ones. You also have on the side of Brazil, Defons is going to be the main carry. Other players include Kagura, Laruman, Revoken, Linu, Aphrodite, Raphael, and Uchirad. And I do imagine we're getting into the pick ban very shortly. The Sweden team is going to round out their roster with Melwin, Valerian, Tony Reno, Grippe, Couch, and Phelan. So quite a few players from the OWC roster here in 4WC. Not so much for Brazil outside of Defons, but they have been the higher seed so far in this tournament, and they've had a really good performance.
Brazil has also Lidoming from the OWC roster. It was just Afonso and Lidoming on last year's OWC roster for Brazil. That's on this OWC team.
Yeah.
But while on Sweden you have, like, I think most of the team has played on OWC, so yeah.
Yeah. Brazil going to be opting for second pick. That will give them the last pick before tiebreaker. If we get there, it gives them a chance to swing the momentum back into their favor if we do end up getting to tiebreaker. And Sweden has chosen the first ban, so you should be getting their ban shortly. Gonna see if they want to ban out one of the Hard Rock maps that Brazil have been so strong on. They were first place on both qualifier maps, both Hard Rock qualifier maps. And I think they've had it banned out against them quite a few times throughout the tournament. So we will see if Sweden opt to ban that. There are other options. Both teams have been quite solid on the DTs. Brazil has looked really good on the tech, and it's just going to be the Hard Rock too. So I expect it bans so far. Meanwhile, on Brazil's side, I think the Swedish roster is pretty well known for their DT abilities. Decent on some of the lower AR maps as well, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those DTs, possibly something like a DT4 or even a DT2 banned out.
I think we'll see DT2 ban for sure. Other than that, I don't really know, because I feel any map in the pool could be banned. Like, really? I feel the main mod set that Sweden might be outmatched on is probably Hard Rock and Brazil on Hidden. The rest, I think, could honestly go either way. In terms of like general mod, putting together mods, not necessarily skill sets, but
Yeah.
Brazil is going for a double gimmick ban with Noah 6 and Hidden 2.
That makes sense to me as well. I mean,
Yep.
Skilla especially is incredibly talented on some of the lower AR picks, especially when it comes to Gimmick. And I have a feeling we're probably just going to see a second Hard Rock banned out from Sweden. Notably, Sweden also had a really impressive score on the No Mod 1 last week, getting 2.3 mil. It was the third best score, only behind United States and Canada, our number 1 and number 3 seeds in the tournament. It's going to be No Mod 3 instead, does not want to play the alt pick.
Yeah, that's understandable. honestly. Brazil's kind of strong on ult, but I would have still thought that it could have gone either way.
Yep. Does leave the Hard Rock 1 and Hard Rock 3 open for Brazil to potentially pick if they feel comfortable on it. Now we're getting to the stage in the tournament where scaling is a question, right? It's not necessarily anymore just pick Hard Rock and it's free, because it becomes a question of, are the maps becoming too difficult for your Hard Rock players? And while these are both very good teams, I think this is the point in the tournament where the maps do tend to get harder and skill cap does become an issue for some teams.
Indeed. But I think it's Sweden's pick now. They'll probably go into a free mod first. I would
Yeah, they
maybe
do have.
say free mod 2.
I could certainly see it. They have a lot of good options on their players for what kind of who can take certain mods, right? You have Skilla, I know, can take both the Hidden and the Hard Rock.
And they do go for the free
Ultimate,
mod 2.
yeah, it's gonna be AR8, CS 5.4, and of course for the free mods in this tournament, we need 3 players with a mod, at least 1 Hard Rock, at least 1 Hidden or Easy. So you don't necessarily need a Hidden, but I think Easy is pretty unlikely on this one.
Yeah, it is pretty unlikely. Early on, it might even be viable, but you need to be really good at easy to safely go easy on any of these free mods.
I'm wondering if we're going to see Defons on the Hard Rock as well. And I'm curious if we're going to see any overmods from players like a Defons or a Skello. I think generally have not liked to overmod in the past, but on a map like this, it could see it. You know, if you're taking the Hidden anyways, sometimes the Hard Rock isn't too bad. This is CS 5.4 by default, so circles are quite small with Hard Rock. I believe it's 7.2.
I think it might be a little. I think it might be like 6.9.
6.9. Yeah, you might be right.
But I feel we'll just see the regular mods from Brazil. I think we'll see Little Me on Hidden, and we'll see the Fonz on the. Okay, yeah, 7.02. But we'll probably see the Fonz on the Hard Rock, and whoever comes in as the final player in Brazil will be. Well, it'll by the. I think we'll probably see Rafael on the Hard Rock and then Tiger on the No Mod.
Yeah, they would need one other player on the either the Hidden or the Hard Rock. And I'm curious if the teams want to run double Hidden or double Hard Rock. I'm not super familiar with these players on either team for the most part, so
I think Sweden
I'm
will run
curious
double
how that's
Hidden.
gonna play out. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, especially a player like Phelan as well could run that second Hidden for sure.
Untitled Brazil, I think we're gonna see 2 Hard Rocks though, and just a Hidden on Little Me.
Good luck, have fun in the chat, and we are about to get into our first map of this semi-finals match. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Anti-mod pick as the players load in.
Looking forward to this matchup. Just remind, this is
That's
Seed 6 versus Seed 7.
Yeah, it should be incredibly close. Brazil have just dropped down from the losers bracket, whereas Sweden, they've been making a pretty impressive losers bracket run so far. And
Pause, we're seeing easy.
Here.
We are seeing easy.
Okay, we have got crazy mods. We've got Hidden Hard Rock on Kagura, Laruman on the Hidden, Aphrodite on the Hard Rock. Meanwhile, on Sweden, it is easy for Psycha Phelan on the easy as well. Hard Rock for Grippe, so it is a double easy. And so far, easy's paying off for Sweden as it is misses across the board from Brazil. Only Laruman holding on to a near full combo. I believe did miss right at the start, but you've got both those easies still holding on to the FCs, Skilla as well. And Sweden are making the easy look good so far.
Already pretty strong lead, just off the start. Agira is struggling to hold on to any sort of combo. Same with Gruppe. So both the harder players are quite struggling. Philip does find a break.
I mean, keep in mind it's a 1.75 easy multiplier, so Sweden still has score missing from what is on screen right now. You have to multiply their score by the easy score is at least by 1.75 as Kagura finds yet another miss, and oh, there goes both big full high combos on Brazil.
Yeah, it's over.
Phelon holds on, and I mean, there is still a lot of map to go. Brazil has plenty of time to come back if a Phelon finds the miss, because Saika and Skilla have both dropped their big combos as well, so it's pretty much full resets across the board, except for Phelon, who was the only one in the entire lobby to hold on to some combo.
But also the square at the bottom does show, like the multiply already. Like
oh,
the easy multiply.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Aphrodite is starting to hold on to some sort of combos, starting to recover a little bit. Phelon is still holding on to that easy FC, which is massive.
Unless we see the drop from Phelon, nothing else really matters. And there goes Aphrodite once again. Brazil struggling to build back up much combo here. Skilla has recovered quite nicely after that earlier miss. You can see because of the easy on Phelon, Skilla actually still has a higher score despite the miss and accuracy. But I think with only a third of the map to go, there goes a big miss from Phelon, but it's still Skilla as well now.
There's no combo inside Brazil though.
Exactly. It's 400,000 points and no recovery on Brazil means this point should still go over to Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden is looking really, really strong on this map. They're not just the inaccuracy that leading him just every single aspect. They also have the combo lead. You have just way higher accuracy overall in Sweden. So you do have Aphrodite on the 97 knock on the hard rock, which is really impressive.
Yeah, you can see the other Hard Rock players in the lobby, both closer to 200k. That 330k score from Aphrodite is incredibly impressive, but unfortunately not going to make a huge difference when the Sweden players are just popping off on this easy. Phelon especially looking to secure the one miss easy. And a decisive point for Sweden on their first pick. Brazil going to be looking to claw that one back with a pick of their own up next. And they've got quite a few options. We're still early on in this match. Hard Rock 1, Hard Rock 3 open. They've got a Nomad 4, which I think they've looked good on as well. Those would be my kind of go-to picks for them initially, but they might opt for something else as well.
So if it wasn't for the easy multiply, I think this would have been like really close. I'm gonna double check the score difference. Yeah, 55,000 point score difference. But yeah, the easy really pulled through for Sweden. Some excellent easy players from both Phelon and Saiko.
Yeah, it is a little bit concerning for Brazil, who have looked good throughout most of the tournament, but last week really struggled quite a bit, had some of the lower scores on most of the maps they've played, had decent scores on the Free Mod 1, the DT3, but on picks like Free Mod 2, even the Hard Rock 1, as well as the Nomad 5, they had either the lowest or second lowest scores tournament-wide, and so you really need to see them improve this week, which is not necessarily easy when the maps have gotten so much harder. Meanwhile, Sweden last week had some very impressive scores. Number 3 on the Nomad 1, number 4 and 5 on the Hidden 1 since they played the map twice, number 6 and 7 on the Hidden 3. And so you think those Hiddens could be good picks for Sweden as well later on into this match. And we know they have strong scaling players like Skilla and Grippe, just to name a couple. Even Phelon can play some of those higher SR maps. So feels like Brazil are slightly on the back foot coming into this one, but we'll see how they look on their own first pick.
Yep, still a lot of maps to be played. I think Brazil will probably opt for a mechanics pick here. DT4 actually, going for the DT old map, like old tech map. This map is pretty interesting.
Yeah, Brazil have looked very good on tech, pretty much all tournament long. I think they were number 2 on the No Mod 4 tech pick in qualifiers. Sweden has been solid on the tech as well, but I do like this pick from Brazil and think it's the kind of thing they can pop off on.
For sure.
DT4 tends to be one of the lower AR DT picks as well, which can make it a little bit easier to read for a lot of players. I will also say the pool that Brazil outperformed Sweden on, especially the qualifier pool, is probably the most similar in difficulty to this week's semifinals pool, very close in SR. And that's going to be 1 minute and 52 seconds, 9.7 AR only compared to all the others, which are above 10 AR. And it is going to be Taft Dunk.
Not to be confused with Daft Punk.
No, no. Very
Quite
different.
Yeah.
Are waiting on one player from Brazil, 2 players from Sweden. And I wonder if we are going to see, it looks like we are going to be seeing Kagura back in for the Brazilian team. Sweden rounds out their roster with Valerian and Saika, so just switching up one player. Afrodi back in makes a lot of sense here, looked really good on the free mod 2 with the Hard Rock, and Linu in for Brazil this time around.
Yep, I'd say this is a very expected DT4 lineup for Brazil. All 4 of these players, I'm very familiar with all of these 4, and they are probably the 4 you would want in for this map for Brazil. And on the side of Sweden, I would also say these are the 4 you want to have in for this map. Especially someone like Skilla, Psycho, Groovy. All 4 of these players are extremely good at this type of map, especially on this AR, not being too high.
Yeah. Brazil certainly favored on the pick, but we'll see if Sweden can pull something out. Put up a break point here. That'd feel really good early on, especially because it is best of 11 first to 6 points. Which means you just need to win 5 picks to get yourself a tiebreaker. And here we go. This map does take a little bit to ramp up. We do see early misses out of Defons and Saika. Not the player you want to see missing from Brazil, has traditionally been their biggest carry, but Valerian finds yet another miss for Sweden, so it is going to be advantage to Brazil, at least at the start of this map.
Yeah, Psycho finding another break. We can already see the Fons does find another break, but we can already see a slight accuracy advantage for the side of Brazil, which does show they might be a bit more comfortable in this map. As I say that accuracy advantage does dissipate completely, and we see repeater breaks from Defons, Lino, and Aphrodite.
Misses traded on both sides, so now it's 1 FC to 1, but Sweden with the better recovery combo. Valerian does find a miss, but that was their lowest combo. It is Kripe and Saika holding on to 250 and 200 combo respectively. Meanwhile, Skilla and Kagura are matching. The rest of the Brazilian team falling behind a little bit. Defons especially has been struggling, finding repeated misses, and we're already halfway through the map. Sweden already up by 100k, and they might need a miss from Skyla at this point. As Defons finds yet another miss, needs to find some combo. Saika does trade it back. That's going to help out Brazil, as Afrodi and Linu now on the recovery combos themselves. The score should start to go back over, but a big miss from Kaguri is going to give Sweden a massive edge as Skilla holds on, and we could be seeing a very quick break point here.
Yeah, this play from Skilla is he's looking really strong. He doesn't even flinch on the fast slider. Skilla is still holding on to that FCA, reaching 750,000 points now. With a 200,000 point lead, and that double break from Lino and Aphrodite, I think this map is pretty much over. Skilla does find a break, but there is just not enough combo, nor enough time for Brazil to stage a comeback, and Sweden will be getting a break point very early on Brazil's first pick.
And this is what we've seen from Skilla time and time again, consistently top 10 in terms of individual performance, and has been the big carry for Sweden. Skilla is just so good at such a diverse number of picks. 900k on the DT4 is going to get Sweden the breakpoint, as you mentioned, Felicia. And now Brazil is kind of on the back foot. Yes, there are still a lot of maps to be played, But your first pick tends to be a map that you are very confident on, and it's never one that feels good to give up first. And so Brazil may have to adjust their pick strategy coming into the rest of this match, as Sweden has the next pick, and a 3-0 deficit this early on is really tough to come back from. They very quickly go into the hidden 3 pick. This is going to be your kind of uh, 186th aim control tech hidden pick. Something Sweden and Skilla especially are very good at.
Yeah, this is... This is, when you look at it, this is just a map that you could probably describe as a skill map.
That's for sure. It's kind of interesting. These two teams have somewhat opposing skill sets in that Brazil really wants to play the hard rock, and Sweden really wants to pick the hidden. So it feels like they have very clear early picks. Brazil looking for DT hard rock, Sweden maybe looking for hidden free mod. If we were to get later into the pool with a fairly even match, let's say 4-4, the picks become a lot less clear because outside of those clear skill sets, teams tend to be really even, right? So I think if it does come down to it, we are going to have some very close maps, but at least early on, each team should be relatively favored on their own skill set, and so that's a big breakpoint for Sweden early when you expect the maps to be a little bit more one-sided. And I think we're going to see largely the same lineups for Sweden especially. We do see Couch coming in, but I imagine the rest of their lineups will stay relatively the same. I wouldn't be surprised to see Phelan coming in to replace possibly Grippe, who I don't believe is necessarily a hidden player. I know generally prefers the Hard Rock or Nomad, so we'll see if they want to make that change. Brazil, in the meanwhile, is bringing Olaruman back in, and I imagine it's going to be Defons to fill out the roster.
Yeah, we'll most likely see Defons here, and
possibly Revoken as well.
Final player will most likely be Revoken, though we could also see maybe Aphrodite here.
Yeah, I could see it. Has been in for some of the higher AR picks so far. We'll see if the hidden tech streams are in the wheelhouse. And it's going to be Raphael.
Or not.
It's another... Could be. I mean, that's one I wouldn't be surprised by. In my mind, it's going to be Raphael or Revoken, the two players who are a little bit more known for their hidden, but maybe neither. That's a new.
No, that's really unexpected, honestly. Lino is a lot more focused on tapping, so it's a surprise to see him in for this hidden 3.
It is somewhat of a tapping pick. I mean, 186 BPM should be pretty comfortable for most of these players. It really isn't a tapping or stamina aim control, I'd say, is the main focus on a pick like this. But here we go into the hidden 3. It is going to be a key here for Brazil to try and get a breakpoint back. If they can go down 3-0 this early on, they're going to be in a very tough spot. But pressure is on as we go in to hidden 3. 2 minutes and 32 seconds of hidden tech streams.
We'll onto some very early breaks, but it shouldn't matter too much. But it might be a telltale sign about how comfortable he is on this map.
Yeah, already down to 93% accuracy is a little bit concerning. Is going to recover a little bit, but look at the accuracies everywhere else across the board. Everybody else seeming very comfortable with this into, but we'll see how the misses turn out as we get into the harder section of this map. The streams start out relatively basic, relatively easy on aim control, but they get trickier as the map goes on, and Lanu finds the first big miss for either team. Thankfully, Defons has recovered, so it's not going to be too bad for Sweden as the rest of their players hold on, but they're going to need a quick miss from Sweden to bring this one back, and it's Defons who finds another miss, but traded back by Grippe. That trade will favor Brazil. Unfortunately for them, they are still down by a full FC, and they have their work cut out for them as we approach the second PI of this map. Sweden need to find misses somewhere if Brazil wants any chance of coming back.
Yeah, they definitely need to find some misses by Sweden, and that's exactly what we see. You see a massive miss from Felgen and Couch. It's a massive break from Sweden. We see Felgen, Gripping, and Couch breaking, whilst only Lino breaks on that section for Brazil. But there's still a lot more to play in this section. Couch finds another break. Brazil has a pretty sizable combo lead. 2 FCs to 1. Kagura does find a miss though.
Yeah, now 1 FC to 1, but look at the recovery on Defons. Had some struggles early, but no, there goes Defons. Traded back by 2 players on the side of Sweden, and there goes all of Sweden again, except for Skilla. Of course it is Skilla. Skilla
It's
doing it again. Kagura finds another miss, but Sweden has held on to the lead for now. Larumin is not enough, only matching Skilla, but the recovery is not quite there for Brazil. They need a little bit more. The 2 more misses come out for Gripe and failure on the score, slowly going back over, but 2 misses traded back from Brazil. 3 now, and the full combo drops, and Skilla holding on. I think it's going to be a 3rd point for Sweden. Skilla, an unstoppable force so far in this match, does it once again.
the shakes really hit with you know what I mean? You could see it. You can still see the shakes now. He got really nervous. But skill is just going off. Look at that. Actually 99.5. There is nothing that can be done against this guy. Just look at him go. He finds a break, but 950,000 points. Everyone on Sweden barring Skilla missed on the ending, but wow. What an excellent performance by Skilla and great performance as well by Lidoming.
Yeah, Skilla is one of those players that completely warps a team. You see, overall, the team scores were a little bit stronger from Brazil. You know, they had only 1 player below 380k, whereas Valerian Couch right around that 380, 400k mark, Repe down at 300, but Skilla is just so good at these picks, 960k. And it's
Yep.
so freeing to be able to pick hidden 3, not worry too much about how high of a score the rest of the team can get, because you know Skilla will put up a crazy score and secure you the point. And Sweden, what's key for Sweden is they have the support as well, right? You don't have players on that team putting up 100, 200Ks. It's all very solid 300 to 400K scores that are enough support to do what Skilla does and secure the point for Sweden. Brazil, of course, is going to have the next pick. What do you think, Felicia? Do you think they look towards the Hard Rocks now, or do we think they go back to something like a DT3 potentially? Or even Nomad 4?
I think we'll probably see Brazil going into another DT here. I think they might want to go into tapping.
Yeah, tapping could make a lot of sense. You have something like the DT3, which is just pure speed, or the DT2, which is more stamina intensive. I mean, there is the Nomad 5 as well if they are looking for speed, but that is everything will freeze 240 BPM, a little bit slower than the DT3, so if you really want to go into speed, I think DT3 is probably the first pick to kind of test the waters, and if that goes well, you can then look towards the Nomad 5. I don't think I would necessarily look towards the Nomad 5 as a current pick ever.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pick that should probably be floated until the later stages of the match.
They are going to take their time with this one, and they're going to pick Nomad 1. This is a shock to me because Sweden, I mean, I mentioned earlier last week, Sweden was 3rd place on the Nomad 1 off of very impressive performances from both Skilla and Melwem. Melwem had, I think, the only, looks like a 1 miss right at the end, but Melwem had the number 1 and number 3 scores on Nomad 1 last week. I imagine we're going to see Melwem in here for Sweden. Skilla looked fantastic on it as well. And so it seems like a risky pick for Brazil, but we'll see how it goes.
Maybe they're just seeing more content this week on aim overall.
Potentially. I mean, you even go back to round of 16. Guess who? It was Skilla. Number 1 score on Nomad 1 with an SS, the only SS on the map. And so Nomad 1 has been just a great pick for Sweden so far, and Brazil certainly taking a risk. I mean, if it works out, there'll be some good confidence, but I think if you go down 4-0 here, give up a second break point, this match is probably just over.
Giving up a second break point is not going to be good, especially this early on. And especially when Sweden's picks have been so... There was quite a bit of contest on Hidden 3, but Sweden's first pick, there just really wasn't much that Brazil could do. It was just so dominant by Sweden.
And there are Tony Reno, Falrion, and Melwem. He's in the lobby as well, just needs to switch lobby slots as we have Defans, Afrodi, Raphael, and Figura in the lobby for Brazil. Makes a lot of sense here. Have generally been their top performers. And interestingly enough, I don't think Brazil have actually played a No Mod 1 so far in this tournament outside of the qualifiers. So we don't really have a lot of information on what kind of scores they can get aside from the qualifiers where they did get third on No Mod 1. So, you know, they could be strong on this one.
Only time will tell. Good luck how funds being exchanged. Getting ready to get into this map.
So far, we've seen consistent early misses from Defans. That's not really something you can afford on something like the No Mud 1. It's all about consistency. It's all about building up those big combos before the Ki section so that if you make it through the Ki section, you can take advantage of that big combo when everybody else has found misses. Here we go into the No Mod 1. I expect we should see players across the board building up their combos before we get into the first really tricky Ki section. I'd say maybe a quarter of the way roughly into the map as we do see Falrion, Defans, and Defrodi finding very early misses. This is kind of an early tricky jump section in the map, so unsurprised to see a lot of misses, but it's 3 misses for Brazil, 2 for Sweden, and for the 4th map in a row, it is Sweden off the early lead with Melwem and Tony Reno both holding strong, only being matched by Raphael. We're going to need to see some recovery combos. Stefan's looking to come back, but it's been an easier section before the next PI, and I think the next PI is going to be the first real test of comfort and first indicator of how this map might play out.
Ooh, Melwem finding
Here
the
we
break
go.
into
Oh,
the
Melwem
start
and Tony
of
Reno.
section. Those are the 2 FCs.
Yeah, absolute worst place you can find a miss. Falrion. No, that was a bunch of miss from Falrion. So thankfully for Sweden, they're going to hold on to the one big combo. But no, that's a real miss from Falrion. Defans and Frody do trade, but Raphael now combos dropping left, right, and center. It is now Figuria, the only one holding in Brazil, are going to have the score lead in their favor for, it feels like the first time in quite a few maps. There are 3 more misses. That's going to favor Sweden as Melrem, Tony, and Skilla are all on recoveries now. And the score is going back over with those recoveries and accuracy drops on the side of Brazil. It feels like it's currently Figura against the world, but there are a couple more KIs to go and lots of time for Sweden, or Brazil, I guess I should say now, to make the comeback.
Once again, Defans finding another break. Falrion trading it though, same as Tony Reno. Oh, and Kagura breaks. That's really bad for Brazil. You have Skilla and Melwem holding on to some very strong recovery combos on the side of Sweden.
And they both hold on through the Ki. That is going to be massive because it is free combo advantage for Sweden into this next slow section. They're going to get about 100, maybe 150 combo worth of free combo with these big combo advantages. I think you're going to see the score lead balloon to just over 120, 130,000 before we get into the next Ki, and so Brazil is going to need to build up their combos and hold through the last Ki section if they want to make the comeback here, but you have the recovery combos on Tony Reno and Falrion to worry about as well, right? You need the support to be there for Brazil, and it really has to be a full team effort if they want to secure this point. There goes Raphael. That's a big miss for Brazil, one they absolutely cannot afford. Traded back by Melwem. That's a big miss for Sweden. Now it is just Skilla with the big combo left over. Unfortunately, nobody to match on Brazil, and it's going to have to be a miss from Skilla very, very soon, probably within the next 10 to 15 seconds of this Ki section. All eyes on Afrodi and Skilla. One miss from either player could spell the end for their respective teams. Raphael find another miss, but didn't have much combo in the first place. There goes Afrodi, and I think that's going to be it for Brazil as Skilla continues to hold. Defans does find the miss, and it is a full reset across the board except for Felian and Kagura. Unfortunately, 100 combo advantage is not going to be nearly enough at this point in the map, and Sweden will take a second break point. They will be up 4-0, and they are well poised to take this map.
Sweden is looking extremely strong. They're looking ready to. They're looking ready to just take this match. Still 2 points to go, but Sweden is looking extremely strong.
Yeah, really feeling like Nomad won. Was not the pick. Sweden number 3 on it last week, number 2 on it the week before, and number 3 on it again the week before that. Time and time again, the Sweden team roster have shown that they can be incredibly consistent on these No Mod 1 picks, and they are going to do so yet again with a very consistent team score, getting just above 2 million points. And very quickly, going to opt into that No Mod 2 pick, Stream Tapping Map.
That was a very quick pick. Sweden was already prepared with that one.
Yeah. Not necessarily when I was initially expecting, but when I think about it, it does make a lot of sense. They have some very strong tapping players. Of course, Skilla can play just about everything, but um, looking at this Swedish roster, um, you have players like Tony Reno and Grippe, who are also incredibly good at the tapping pick, so Nomad 2 could be pretty strong for them. And it's not quite the speed pick, right? It is tapping, but not super fast. So it's a little more comfortable for the rest of the Swedish lineup, who, for the most part, you don't necessarily think of as speed players.
Yeah, no, I think most of the Sweden lineup should be comfortable on this 200 BPM map. It's not. It's kind of stamina intensive, but it shouldn't be too bad. I feel both teams should be able to field a pretty strong four-man roster for this.
Yeah. Be a little bit surprised if we're not going to be seeing a Tony Reno in for this one. Brazil are going to be switching out Aphrodite this time around. I guess unfortunately does not feel comfortable on the Nomad 2, but has been one of their strongest players so far in this match. So it's going to hurt a little bit not to have him in the lobby, but it looks like we do have final lineups from both teams here.
Didn't really asking if they can decide this pick in a COD game.
I don't honestly. I don't know if I know what that means.
Truco is a Brazilian COD game.
Ah, okay. That would be a banger way to end the match. You know, why play tiebreaker when you can play Fuko instead?
Truco is you know, you learn it by playing it. The rules are kind of hard to explain, so you just learn it by playing it.
Fair enough.
So, you know, give Sweden a couple of games to, you know, train their Truco skills, and then go in
There
for the
you
real
go.
match.
By the time we get to tiebreaker, Sweden will be scaled up in their Fuko ability.
They will. Will we see any 700 PPs on this map? We saw a 600 PP play from, I forgot who it was on in Singapore. I think it was Tabby. So will we see another performance like that? I guess when
If we
he's
do, it's going to be Skilla, without a doubt. In my mind, I don't think there's anybody else in this lobby that's going to put up a full combo on this, but I think Skilla could reasonably do it. We have seen some crazy Nomad 2 scores from Skilla, even looking back to the World Cup, looking back to 3WC. So I don't think it's likely, but I wouldn't actually be shocked if Skilla did it. But it is, of course, a 4v4. It's going to come down to the team scores overall. You don't necessarily can't necessarily rely on one person for the whole match. It is going to be Grippe who finds the first miss for Sweden. Traded back by Kagura.
Fons finding another early break as well. But overall, they seem to be fairly comfortable, at least in the early stages of the map.
Yes, slight combo advantage for Sweden, but accuracy in favor of Brazil is going to keep the score very close. But Kagura does find another miss traded by Grippe, so those players are going to continue to trade. It is 3 FCs for Sweden though, so we need to see Defons on a bit of a recovery. The accuracy though for Laruman, incredibly impressive at 98.9, not really being matched by anyone on Sweden. Whereas the accuracies are closer to that 94-95 mark, and despite the early combo drop from Defons, has recovered really nicely on accuracy, back up to 97.5, and so despite 3 FCs to actually 1 as Lanu find a very early miss, it is
Oh,
just...
Melon breaks.
Yeah, oh, Saika as well. That's 2 FCs down for Sweden. All of a sudden, the score lead is going to skyrocket in favor of Brazil, and of course, it is just Skilla holding on. Lanu now finds the miss. Big combo down for them. It is Larumen versus Skilla. Defons is the support. Defons finds the miss. Now it's Kagura holding off Sweden, but a big full combo down for Larumen, and now it is Skilla once again gonna push the lead. It's a full reset for Brazil. Sweden holding on to most of their combos, and once again, Sweden is off to the races here. They do find 2 misses, but not on the players who matter.
Skilla really looking strong on this. Already hitting the 1200 combo mark. He's really going off on this. And Brazil is just finding repeated breaks on Linil, Defons, Grippe also finding a break, but all eyes on Skilla at this point. He's looking super strong on this, super comfortable. The highest accuracy in the lobby by not too much actually, because you also have Melem on almost 98%. Melem recovering pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do here? Skilla is just so comfortable, and on top of Skilla, you have very impressive scores from Melem and even Saika, who are both up to that 200, both above that 200k mark now, with only 2 players from Brazil reaching that 200k mark so far. And Skilla continues to hold, hits that space stream, is still going. And Skilla, one of the
big
very
combos of Brazil
few
break.
hit that pattern. I mean, this map is over. It is the Skilla show indeed. This match has been Skilla supremacy. Sweden being put on Skilla's back, and what can you do if you're Brazil here? Skilla is just too good.
Skilla's really just... this is the Skilla show. He's the only personality to any combo now. He's hitting 2000 combo. He's just going off. It's incredible to watch.
It is. There's nothing you can do but watch as we wait to see if Skilla can get the 700 PP play. Still at 2.2k combo. No one else in the lobby matters at this point. It is all eyes on Skilla.
Wow. He's just hitting all of these space sections.
Yeah, I'm curious what the mass cost looks like for this match. Skilla has to be, I don't know, close to a 3 at this point.
Oh, for sure.
I don't want to say anything more.
I want to see it.
Don't curse it. Only slow sliders left.
I'm
There it is.
Skilla FC, okay. That's... I believe this is about 650 PP, so, yeah, what a play by Skilla. This is... yeah, definitely one of the plays of all time.
Certainly for 4WC. Incredibly impressive to do that in match as well. I'm sure somebody can get the PP in the chat, but yeah, 4-digit by the way.
Yeah. Skilla just puts on match point just like that. It does go back to Brazil's pick, but what does Brazil even pick here at this point? All of your picks haven't gone well for you. What do you pick here? You have to try something different that you haven't gone into yet.
Yeah,
But
it's tough, and I mean to give some context to viewers who might not watch the tournament scene as closely. Skilla played for Sweden in OSU World Cup, was the best performer for Sweden in the Open Rank World Cup, and in the World Cup was consistently getting top 20, top 30 in terms of individual performance. So certainly not 4-digit in terms of skill level, only in terms of rank, and one of those players that is invaluable because they can compete in the World Cup, and uh, to be able to have a player that good in 4WC can uh, maybe such a big difference maker, especially in these matches that could be relatively close otherwise. I mean, Felicia, you asked the pertinent question, what does Brazil pick here? Honestly, I'm not sure. I do like the Nomad 4. They've looked good on tech so far.
I
I
think they
think that
just
is
rolled for that
their go-to.
because they rolled 10 and the Fonz, the captain, rolled 1, and that is the first map that is available. I think they just rolled that pick.
No. Well, you never know. Um, they just need to high roll their scores, unlike their Boncho roll.
I just saw one of the messages in chat, and it's just Afro asking Skillet FC because he wants to watch the Champions League, and Afro is playing for Brazil, so I mean...
I think he might get his wish.
Yep, I think he did get his wish. This match so far has just seen Skilla really showing up. Though Sweden has also put up some very strong supporting scores. It can't just be one player, obviously, to win these matches.
Yeah, I think that's the key here, right? You have, on one hand, you have Stilla, who's obviously been the carry for Sweden and put up consistently incredible scores on just about any map. You can always count on Stilla for a high score, but in a 4v4 tournament, you can't rely on just one player. You have such strong supporting players that consistently put up at the very least 300k scores. Very frequently, it is more than that, 400, 500k. And you have not only that big carry player, but also players that are in a roster that's strong enough to put up, at the very least, decent sporting scores on just about everything. That's going to take you very, very far, pretty much up until you get to finals or grand finals when you start to face teams that have, multiple big carries that can consistently put up those kind of full combos on many maps. And so is paying dividends for Sweden. And as as much as it's good to focus on skill, and as easy as it is to focus on skill because of the incredible scores, you have to give credit to the supporting players as well, who continuously put up very solid scores themselves. I don't think we've really seen one kind of bad score from the Sweden team. It doesn't feel like they've had fourth player syndrome on any of these picks, and it's a really good sign going into future matches.
Yeah, they seem to have had four players for any map any map that's picked. So yeah, it's looking like a really good time we'll see, and you have Skillup performing at its best, and you also have the rest of the team who can provide very strong backup scores. I think it's actually the case of the Fremont 2, we saw excellent easy scores by Phelan and Psycho, which really did pull Sweden through.
Yep. So we wait to get into the Nomad 4. We do also have the United States-Poland match going on in the A stream. That match has just started, so, hang out here to finish off this match, and then we can send you guys off to the USA-Poland, but you don't want to miss out on the Skilla show. So it's a joy to watch.
Yeah, United States winning 1-0 currently over Poland.
Yeah, winning their first pick. Poland now have their own pick, and so it is, of course, the winners bracket match, 1 seed versus a 4 seed. That should be a pretty exciting one. But before that, we've got a Nomad 4 to be played. I think we can hopefully. I'm not sure if it's a graphics issue because we are still on the
It has
song
started.
selection screen.
The map has started, but we're just currently having a few client issues here.
Yeah. All right. Well. All right. It might be doomed for this last one. So, you know, I guess let's check out the United States Poland match while
Yeah.
we wait for this map to finish up. We won't know until until we get the scores in the MP link. It is a relatively short map, if I'm remembering correctly. 2 minutes and oh no, it's 3 minutes and 27 seconds. So we'll have a little bit to go, but once we get those scores in, we will let you know. United States, Poland. It is currently United States in the lead by about 300,000 on the Polish pick so far, with only a third of the map to go. But they have just found a miss, so Poland certainly have chances to come back. And still waiting on this no mod 4.
Yeah. The United States looks really strong in this pick, though. They still have 2 FCs to Poland's 0 FCs.
Yeah, Poland only have one big combo to the two, like you mentioned, on the side of the United States. Got Blank Tap and Demarche doing commentary over there. And we'll be, I imagine, rating that stream after this match. But this match is not over yet. Brazil could still win the No Mod 4. So we are going to hold off and on switching over for the time being, just to make sure we know how this match ends.
Yeah.
Seems like the map may have been updated shortly before the match, which is not why it is not loading. Hopefully we can get that updated in the client for the future matches. And we are about 3 minutes in, so we should be getting these scores in the next, I'd say, 30 seconds to a minute here. Oh, here we
Oh,
go.
we're in.
We've got Nomad 4.
Um,
And those are big combos for Brazil, not matched by anyone on Sweden. And Brazil far in the
Afro.
lead, 300,000
Wow.
points. It's Defons and Afrodi. I'm not quite an FC from either one, but very impressive scores. And this is why we didn't want to switch over. Brazil winning the Nomad 4, getting a point back, preventing the sweep from Sweden. It is unfortunate that we couldn't load that one, but yeah, it's not over yet, Felicia. We've got match to be played.
Yep. Excellent scores by Aphrodite, and the Fawns, both really showing up there. Both over 1,000 combo. And excellent accuracies by both of them. Skilla topping the accuracy, but yeah, this was. We had 3 players over 400,000 points, and everyone else was below that. Yeah, 5-1. Brazil finally getting on the board with their own pick.
Yeah, unfortunately, because Brazil have already given up 2 break points, it feels like Sweden have quite a few good pick options. They have recently won the No Mod 2. They still have that hidden one open. They still have uh, two of the free mods as well, the free mod 1 and the free mod 3. That free mod 3 being alt is relatively decent for Sweden. The free mod 1 is also alt, a little bit more rhythmic alt. We've got free mod 1 and no mod 5 suggestions from Brazil. So we'll see if Sweden wants to pick either of those. Be a little nice to Brazil, or Sweden has their own ideas here for their picks. Maybe they're feeling generous. You never know.
You truly never know, but I presume Sweden will probably go for pretty much 3.
I do like the no mod 3. Or sorry, the free mod 3.
Pretty much 3, yeah. No 3 has been banned by Sweden themselves.
Unfortunately, yes. No mod 5 it is. Alright, Sweden is here for it. Everything will freeze is the content pick for Sweden. I don't think there's anything that needs to be said about this map. United States did win that last pick. They are going to be up 2-0 now. And they are going to have the next pick. So United States, in similar to fashion to this match, are looking to go up 3-0 early on.
Sweden does pick Nomad 5, by the way, on our game.
everything will freeze. 240 BPM speed. I think most people know this map very well.
Maybe not this specific map, but the song, I think everyone who's played Osu at least once in their life knows of the song.
Yes, it isn't the most well-known map set, I don't believe, but yeah,
We should shortly getting into this map.
yes, we should. And this is actually a pretty recent map. Um, Submitted February of 2024, so a relatively new Everything Will Freeze map. Hopefully this one loads. And yeah, client is having some struggles at the moment. Do apologize for the tech issues. We hope to have the map loaded shortly. Here we
There we
go.
go.
We've got the players on screen. We've got Good Luck Have Funs in the chat, and we've got potentially the final rosters for both teams. Defons, Larumen, Lanu, and Uchirod in here
That's the
to
first
make
time we
the
see Ushirod.
last stand for Brazil. And yes, indeed, it is the first time we are seeing Uchirod. We'll see what he can do on the side of Sweden. It is Melwem, Saika, Grippe, and of course Skilla trying to get that last point required to move on to the next round of semifinals. Of course, this is a loser's bracket, so the winner of this match will have to play a second match this weekend, and the loser will be eliminated to this from the tournament. So a lot on the line for both teams here, as it's going to be Uchirod, unfortunately, finding the early miss down at 80% accuracy as well. Brazil, I mean, actually, Larumen, to be fair, is also down at 80% accuracy. Lanu not faring too much better. The accuracy is much higher on the side of Sweden. We do see a miss from Melwem, but traded back by Uchirod, and Melwem has started to recover. There goes Larumen now. Was on an 85% accuracy full combo, but drops that off. It's now 2 full combos to 3 on the side of Sweden. It feels like a familiar tale for these two teams.
Yeah, Brazil's already struggling. Brazil itself is already struggling. It's just Liramian and Ushirod themselves that are already struggling on the tapping aspect of this map. Also on Sweden, you have full players who are extremely strong on this map, as can be seen by everybody's accuracy on Sweden being above 95%, and it's 3 FCs up against 2. It's such a massive lead already for Sweden, 200,000 points, Ushirod finding repeated breaks. But Lidoming is building up a recovery combo and also increasing his accuracy. So that's a lot of maps we played.
Yeah. Bildo, or can't speak, Boncho is going to build the anticipation a little bit, as Boncho does best. But it gives us a second to kind of reevaluate the state of the match, as it is Grippe, Skilla, Saika, all on massive combos as we reload. None of those players have dropped. We see misses from Brazil. The Fawns, Lanu, and Uchirod. It is just Larumen holding any combo, and that combo is 300. Not going to be enough. We do see misses from Grippe and Saika, but guess who, Felicia? It is Skilla holding for Sweden yet again. This man is unstoppable today.
He's on fire. And the score lead is already 700,000 point score lead. I think it's just over at this point. There really is no common side of Brazil and no time.
Yeah, only a quarter of the map to go, and Sweden have doubled the score now. Brazil will succumb to the Swede Skilla finding the success needed to secure this point for Sweden, and they will be winning this 6-1. Unfortunately, this will be the end for Brazil. A solid top 12 performance for them, and Sweden will be moving on to the next round of the losers bracket. But before we talk about this bracket, let's keep our eyes on Skilla. Found a full combo on the Nomad 2. Can he do it once again?
Skilla's really been showing up this match. And the thing is, Skilla's trying to break, but it's not only been Skilla. he's had his entire team that's been able to put up very strong scores to support him as well. Skilla actually being able to round off the 1v4. Excellent performance by Skilla and overall by Sweden. Sweden, they perform extremely well. Like we've pretty much mentioned Skilla all the time, but the rest of the Sweden team has also been very strong all throughout. Taika there with a 400k Grippy with a 500k Melon with 300k. These are pretty strong scores. It's just like you have Skilla alongside your backup scores.
Yeah, Skilla with a 2.42 match cost. The second highest match cost, 1.32 from a Frody was absolute dominance from Skilla. Once again, fantastic support from the supporting players on Sweden. And let's talk about what this means for the bracket. Of course, Brazil have been eliminated, a good tournament to them. But Sweden will move on to face the winner of France and Singapore. I'm just going to take a look at the schedules here. It looks like France beat Singapore 6-2, so it is going to be Sweden versus France. That match is going to be 15 UTC tomorrow. In terms of matches left to be played, we have United States versus Poland happening right now on the A channel. We will be rating them very, very shortly. We have got Canada playing against Australia in the losers bracket. That'll be tomorrow at 14, or sorry, that'll be tomorrow at, or I guess tomorrow at 3:30 UTC. Stay tuned for that. And then finally, South Korea, China in the winners bracket at 14 UTC tomorrow. With that said, huge congratulations to Sweden on their win. United States are currently up 3-0 against Poland. We are going to switch over to that. Felicia, anything you wanted to add?
Before we do switch over, I just want to mention the sponsors of 4WC, that being Blue Bunny. So if you want some high quality tablet covers, be sure to check out Blue Bunny and use code 4WC at checkout to get 10% off your order. And be sure, if you want to get a banner to support your favorite team, be sure to donate at least €5 to the prize pool, which allows you to get I mistyped the command. Oh, it's the command isn't here. But yeah, it allows you to get a banner for your favorite team.
There you go. Huge thank you to Shadows for the stream, Felicia for joining me in the commentary booth today. I have been iFlame, and of course, thank you guys all so much for watching. We're going to send you over to United States versus Poland, so stay tuned and enjoy. Have a good one.
Goodbye, everyone.